The observation. The grand chamber of the Galactic Federation fell silent as Archon Vexler rose from his hovering throne. His biomechanical exoskeleton hummed with energy as he gestured toward the holographic display dominating the center of the room. Representatives from over 300 star systems watched intently, their diverse physiologies, from crystalline entities to gaseous consciousness matrices, all focused on the small blue-green planet rotating slowly in the projection. This, Vexlar announced, his voice resonating through the neural translators, is the planet designated Sol 3, locally known as Earth. Our long-range scanners have detected technological development consistent with a pre-spacefaring civilization. Ambassador Thrillzik of the Arthropodian conglomerate clicked his mandibles dismissively. Another primitive world. Hardly worth our attention. Archon. Perhaps, Vexler replied, his compound eyes shifting color patterns to indicate contemplation. Yet our analysis shows unusual resource concentrations and biological diversity. The Federation's Science Directorate believes the inhabitants, self-designated humans, may prove valuable as a labor resource. General Krax, the hulking representative of the Draconian Empire, growled with amusement. Their defensive capabilities. Primitive nuclear weapons, basic orbital satellites, rudimentary artificial intelligence, responded Vexlar. Nothing that poses a threat to even our smallest scout vessels. The chamber erupted in murmurs of approval. New resource worlds were increasingly rare in the explored sectors of the galaxy, and the Federation's expansion had slowed considerably over the past millennium. I propose a standard observation mission, Vexlar continued. Scout Vessel Zenith will conduct close reconnaissance and assess the viability of incorporation into the Federation resource network. The motion passed unanimously. None present recognized the significance of the small notation in the Federation archives. 17 previous civilizations had identified Sol 3 as a potential conquest. None had reported back. Captain Kira Tell of the scout vessel Zenith reviewed the mission parameters as her ship entered the Sol system's outer boundary. As the Federation's most experienced scout captain, she had overseen the assessment of dozens of primitive worlds. This mission seemed routine, almost beneath her considerable skills. Stealth systems engaged, Captain, reported First Officer Malk. We're undetectable to Earth technology. Caratel nodded, her translucent skin rippling with bioluminescent patterns of acknowledgement. Position us in high orbit. Begin comprehensive scanning and deploy observation drones to the major population centers. Within hours, the Zenith had established a complete surveillance network across Earth. The command center displayed thousands of data streams simultaneously. Conversations, media broadcasts, industrial outputs, military deployments. The ship's quantum computers processed the information faster than any organic mind could comprehend. Fascinating, murmured Science Officer Drex as he analyzed the incoming data. These humans are curiously inconsistent. Caratel turned her attention to Drex's station. Explain. Their technological development is uneven, Drex said, manipulating the holographic display. They've mastered nuclear fission but still burn fossil fuels. They've mapped their own genome but still die from simple diseases. They've visited their moon but haven't established permanent settlements beyond their planet. Caratel watched footage of humans going about their daily lives, working, playing, fighting, creating. Something about them disturbed her, though she couldn't articulate what. Recommendations, Science Officer. Drex's skin flashed with confidence patterns. Standard assessment indicates Class 3 civilization. Resource-rich, technologically inferior, minimal resistance capability. Recommended action. Preparation for resource extraction and selective population preservation. The standard procedure for worlds like this was straightforward. The Federation would establish control of strategic locations, neutralize military resistance, and begin systematic resource harvesting. A portion of the native population would be preserved for labor and study. It was efficient, pragmatic, and had worked flawlessly on 87 previous worlds. Begin detailed tactical analysis, Karatel ordered. I want invasion scenarios prepared within one rotation. As the Zenith continued its observation, the crew began noticing unusual patterns. Humans demonstrated remarkable adaptability, constantly improvising solutions to problems in ways the Federation's predictive algorithms struggled to anticipate. They routinely survived conditions that should have been fatal, recovered from disasters with unexpected speed, and displayed cognitive flexibility that defied standard classification. On the third day of observation, Engineering Officer Zex reported the first anomaly. Captain, we're experiencing unusual power fluctuations in the secondary systems, he reported, his crystalline form vibrating with concern. Karatel frowned. The Zenith was the Federation's most advanced scout vessel, equipped with redundant systems and self-repairing technology. Source: unknown, Zex admitted. Diagnostics show no malfunction, yet power levels continue to oscillate beyond normal parameters. Increase monitoring and run a Level 2 diagnostic, Karatel ordered, dismissing the issue as a minor technical glitch. By the fifth day, the anomalies had multiplied. Communications experienced random delays. Navigation systems showed momentary discrepancies in stellar positioning. Environmental controls produced inexplicable temperature variations throughout the ship. Could Earth be responsible? Karatel asked during the command staff meeting. Security Chief Varric scoffed, his exoskeleton plates clicking with derision. Impossible. Human technology can barely detect objects in their own asteroid belt. They couldn't possibly affect a Federation vessel. Yet the incidents continued to escalate. Crew members reported hearing strange sounds in supposedly vacant corridors. The ship's AI began producing statistical analyses with subtle but significant errors. Surveillance drones returned with corrupted data. On the seventh day, First Officer Malk approached Karatel privately, his normally confident demeanor subdued. Captain, the crew is unsettled. Several have reported experiencing unusual thoughts, almost like external mental impressions. Karatel's skin darkened with concern. Are you suggesting psychic interference? Earth shows no signs of psionic development. I'm not suggesting anything, Captain, Malk replied carefully. I'm simply reporting observations. And, he hesitated, I've experienced it myself. A recurring impression that we're being watched, not by humans, but by something else. Before Karatel could respond, the ship's emergency alarms activated. The command center's primary display flickered, then stabilized to show an image that chilled Karatel to her core. It was the Zenith, their own ship, but surrounded by what appeared to be a graveyard of vessels. Some designs she recognized from Federation records, others were completely alien. All appeared damaged, dormant, lifeless. What is this? She demanded. Security breach. Lock down all systems. The image vanished as quickly as it had appeared. Diagnostics reported no intrusion, no malfunction, no explanation for what they had just witnessed. Later that evening, alone in her quarters, Karatel reviewed the mission data, searching for patterns the ship's computers might have missed. The humans remained an enigma, technologically primitive, yet oddly resourceful, physically unremarkable, yet surprisingly resilient. Nothing in their visible capabilities could explain the anomalies plaguing the Zenith. Her personal console chimed, indicating an incoming message. The sender field was empty. With growing unease, Karatel opened the message. It contained a single line of text, written in perfect Federation standard. Leave while you still can. Earth is protected. As alarm surged through her, Karatel's quarters plunged into darkness. When emergency lighting activated seconds later, she found herself staring at a figure standing in the corner of the room, a figure that resembled a human, but somehow wrong. Its outlines seemed to shift and blur, as if it existed partially in another dimension. What are you? Karatel whispered, reaching for her neural disruptor. The figure didn't move, but its voice seemed to materialize directly in her mind. We are the Guardians. We have watched over Earth since before your Federation existed. You are not the first to discover this world. You will not be the first to regret it. Caratel's hand froze inches from her weapon as revelations cascaded through her consciousness. The anomalies, the visions, the malfunctions, all were warnings. And suddenly, she understood the true nature of Earth. The revelation. Emergency command meeting now. Caratel ordered as she strode into the Zenith's command center. Her skin pulsed with urgent bioluminescent patterns, causing the bridge crew to snap to attention. Security Chief Varric approached, concern evident in his posture. Captain, sensors are detecting unusual energy signatures emanating from Earth's surface. Multiple locations, consistent with no known technology pattern in our database. On screen, Caratel commanded. The main display showed a global map of Earth with dozens of points illuminated. Each pulse seemed to send ripples through the surrounding space, ripples that normal sensors shouldn't be able to detect. Science Officer Drex. Analysis. Drex studied the readings, his usual confidence noticeably diminished. The energy signatures defy our classification systems. They appear to be communicating with each other. Communicating. First Officer Malk questioned. You mean they're networked? No, Drex replied, his skin flashing patterns of confusion and awe. I mean they're communicating, exchanging information in patterns too complex for our systems to decode. This isn't just technology, it's something more. Caratel felt a cold certainty settling over her. The humans didn't develop this technology, did they? They're not its creators, they're its protectors. Before anyone could respond, Engineering Officer Zex burst into the command center, his crystalline form vibrating with alarm. Captain, our propulsion systems have initiated an unauthorized startup sequence. Someone, or something, is attempting to take control of the ship. Initiate emergency lockdown. Caratel ordered. Disconnect all automated systems and revert to manual control. The crew scrambled to execute her commands, but it was already too late. Throughout the ship, systems activated independently, overriding safety protocols and security measures with ease. The lights flickered, then stabilized at half brightness. Status report. Caratel demanded. All major systems compromised. Zex reported grimly. Whatever has infiltrated our network is unlike any cyber warfare we've encountered. It's not attacking our defenses, it's simply ignoring them, as if they don't exist. The main display changed without command, showing a historical database that none of the crew had accessed. The file was titled Unresolved Disappearances, Sol System. As the stunned crew watched, the database revealed the fate of 17 previous expeditions to Earth. Missions from civilizations spanning thousands of years and dozens of galaxies. Some had come as conquerors, others as explorers or scientists. None had returned. This can't be accurate, Security Chief Varric insisted. Earth shows no signs of such advanced defensive capabilities. That's exactly the point, Caratel realized. We've been looking at the surface, at human civilization. We never considered what might lie beneath. The ship shuddered as if struck by an invisible force. Structural integrity alarms blared throughout the vessel. Captain, Communications Officer Leary called out, her voice trembling. We're receiving a transmission from Earth, from their governments. Caratel asked. No, Leary replied. From. It's identifying itself as the Guardian Network. The main display changed again, showing what appeared to be a human, an elderly male with dark skin and penetrating eyes. When he spoke, his voice resonated with an authority that transcended species. Vessel Zenith of the Galactic Federation, you have violated protected space. Earth is not what you believe it to be. It is not a resource to be harvested or a civilization to be conquered. It is a sanctuary. Caratel stepped forward. Identify yourself. The human figure smiled slightly. I am an interface created to communicate with species like yours. What you call humans are not the original inhabitants of this world. They are the descendants of the survivors. Survivors of what? Drex asked, scientific curiosity temporarily overriding his fear. The Great Collapse, when our civilization, spanning 12 galaxies, fell to the void entities, Earth was designated as a sanctuary world. The last of our kind retreated here, abandoning our technology and choosing to live as part of nature rather than its master. Over generations, we became what you now call human. The command center fell silent as the implications sank in. Humans weren't primitive at all. They were the descendants of one of the most advanced civilizations to ever exist. The Guardian Network was established to protect Earth while allowing humans to develop naturally. The interface continued. We remained dormant until threats emerge. Your arrival activated our defensive protocols. The anomalies, Caratel realized. The malfunctions, the visions. They were warnings. Yes, the interface acknowledged. We prefer to deter rather than destroy. The vessels in the graveyard you glimpsed chose to ignore our warnings. Security Chief Varric moved to Caratel's side. Captain, this could be an elaborate deception. I recommend immediate withdrawal and report to Federation Command. A wise suggestion, the interface said. However, your propulsion systems will require 26 of your hours to be restored. In the meantime, we offer an invitation. The display changed to show a location on Earth's surface, a mountain range in a region humans called Tibet. There is a facility there, hidden from human detection. A small delegation from your vessel may visit and learn the truth about Earth. This knowledge has been offered to each expedition that has discovered us. Some accepted, others did not. Caratel studied the image, weighing her options. Federation protocol dictated extreme caution when dealing with advanced civilizations, particularly those with demonstrated technological superiority. And if we decline, she asked, then once your systems are restored, you may leave with what you already know. The choice is yours. After the transmission ended, Caratel gathered her senior officers. The debate was intense. Security Chief Varric argued vehemently against accepting the invitation, seeing it as a potential trap. Science Officer Drex advocated for seizing this unprecedented research opportunity. First Officer Malk remained neutral, acknowledging both the risks and potential benefits. In the end, Caratel made her decision. I will leave a small team to the surface. The rest of the crew will continue repairs and prepare for immediate departure should anything go wrong. 12 hours later, Caratel stood with Drex and Malk on a snow-covered mountain plateau, the Zenith's shuttle behind them. Despite wearing environmental suits calibrated for Earth's atmosphere, they felt strangely vulnerable. A section of seemingly solid rock face shimmered and dissolved, revealing an entrance. The same elderly human interface appeared at the threshold. Welcome to Sanctuary Alpha, he said, one of 7 facilities established to monitor and protect Earth. The interior defied Federation architectural knowledge, with spaces that seemed to bend around themselves and technology so seamlessly integrated with the natural stone that it was difficult to determine where one ended and the other began. In the central chamber, a vast holographic display activated, showing the cosmos from a perspective none of the Federation officers had ever witnessed. 12 billion of your years ago, the interface explained, our civilization spanned what you would call the local group of galaxies. We believed ourselves to be masters of creation, having conquered energy, matter, space, and time itself. The display shifted, showing shadowy entities moving between stars, vast, incomprehensible forms that seemed to devour light itself. Then we encountered the void entities, not living beings as you understand life, but cosmic forces with intelligence. They perceived our expansion as a threat and responded accordingly. The hologram showed galaxy after galaxy darkening, civilizations falling, entire star systems being consumed. We fought for 10,000 years before accepting that victory was impossible. Our final act was to establish sanctuary worlds, planets where the survivors could start anew, living simply, allowing the void entities to lose interest in our existence. And the Guardian Network? Drex asked, his scientific mind struggling to process the implications. Automated systems, powered by the fundamental forces of reality itself, designed to render these worlds invisible to the void entities while allowing life to flourish naturally. Caratel struggled to reconcile this information with everything she had believed about the universe. Why reveal this to us? Why not simply destroy our ship when we approached? The interface's expression softened, because even in our darkest hour, we believed in knowledge and understanding rather than fear and destruction. Each civilization that discovers Earth faces a choice: to learn from our past or to repeat our mistakes. What happened to the other expeditions? Mock asked quietly. Those who chose to learn returned to their civilizations with a warning and a gift, knowledge that helped them avoid our fate. Those who chose conquest. The interface gestured toward a section of the chamber where 17 vessels of varying designs were displayed in stasis fields. They remain here as reminders of the cost of arrogance. Returning to the Zenith, Caratel found herself facing the most important decision of her career. Federation protocol demanded complete reporting of all discoveries. Yet this knowledge, the existence of the void entities, the true nature of Earth, the ancient civilization hidden beneath its surface, could spark panic or, worse, military interest. In her private quarters, Caratel composed 2 reports. The official version described Earth as a protected sanctuary world with advanced defensive capabilities, recommending its classification as a no-contact zone. The second, encrypted and addressed only to the Arctic Council, contained the full truth. As the Zenith prepared to depart Earth orbit, the ship's systems now fully restored, Caratel received one final transmission from the surface. The knowledge you carry is both a burden and a gift, the interface said. Use it wisely. Remember that humanity is not what it appears to be. We sleep within the simple forms you observe, waiting for the day when the stars are safe again. The transmission ended, and Earth receded on the view screen as the Zenith accelerated toward deep space. Caratel watched the blue-green planet diminish, understanding now why 17 previous expeditions had failed to return. Some had been destroyed when they threatened Earth. Others had chosen to stay, recognizing the value of what the Guardian Network protected. And some, like the Zenith, had departed with a truth too profound to ignore: that the galaxy held ancient powers beyond comprehension, and that sometimes the most primitive-seeming worlds harbored the greatest mysteries. The Galactic Federation would never view Earth the same way again, and neither would Captain Caratel, who now understood that beneath the surface of a seemingly ordinary world lay the sleeping remnants of a civilization that had once touched the stars and paid the ultimate price for their ambition.